Hey guys, let's begin with another very important topic today. We already have discussed about the termination of the transcription process. Today we'll talk about initiation of the transcription. We'll be dealing with both the prokaryote as well as eukaryote. It is very interesting. There will be a stretch of the DNA and this DNA has some meaning so that it can make you the messenger RNA which could be further translated into the protein. So entire process including the transcription and the translation, we call it as a gene expression. So how exactly the gene expression occur? The first step of the gene expression, that is a transcription, is going to take place both in the prokaryote as well as in eukaryote. A very warm welcome from the Spice Up Your Biology, Sandeep here. Let's talk about this in little more detail. Now, initiation. The few things we require in the process to have the initiation to be done. First thing is that we require an enzyme, that is the DNA dependent RNA polymerase. Second thing what we require is that the ATP, GTP, CTP and UTP. Mind it, it is not going to be the TTP. And here the sugar is always going to be the ribose. So we have not added the DATP or DTTP, something like that. This you have to be very careful about. And this enzyme, DNA dependent RNA polymerase, requires a magnesium and as a cofactor. And here RNA is not required as a primer, as we see in the case of DNA replication. And this process, like any other process in the central dogma, it will go in the direction of the 5' to 3'. Okay. Now, just I told you in the beginning, which messenger RNA is going to be transcribed, or any kind of RNA is going to be transcribed. Everything is hidden in the promoter region, the region where the RNA polymerase binds. That is a regulatory sequence, and that never going to be transcribed. Okay. So the two strands of the DNA, one is we call the template, another we call the sense strand. So one which is on the strand where the RNA is going to be transcribed will be just opposite, just complementary to that. That means the next strand of the DNA is going to be sense one, which is having the similar sequences as we have in the RNA. Now there'll be few things. Let's first talk about the prokaryotic, the information. Like we have an enzyme called RNA polymerase, that is a single enzyme which are required, rather which is required to make all the three RNAs. It has 4 subunits, alpha, beta, beta prime and sigma, but alpha is required in the 2 quantity. So hence the core enzyme is going to be alpha 2 beta beta prime, and the holoenzyme is going to be alpha 2 beta beta sigma. You must be now surprising what is the core enzyme and what is the holoenzyme. Core enzyme is one which really will be doing the catalysis process, and the holoenzyme is that the sigma factor will play important role where to begin the process. Once it helps in the specificity recognition, it will just let off, and then the alpha 2 beta beta prime will do the process. So it is the sigma factor is going to be very, very important to just let us know which DNA stretch is going to be transcribed. Okay. I just told you, like, the 2 strands of the DNA. One is a template, another one just sense. It is also called as antisense and the coding. And holoenzyme will bind to this template strand to start proceedings. Now, if you look at the diagram wise, these are the 2 alpha subunits. Their function is to just go for the enzyme assembly, promoter recognition. It is recognition or the specificity binds with the sum of the activator. The catalytic unit is going to be beta beta prime, and the sigma factor, which is responsible for the promoter specificity. Should not get confused between the recognition of the promoter and the specificity. Specificity is always going to be done by the sigma factor. That is the reason we have different kind of the sigma factor to synthesize different kind of RNA. So the total molecular weight of this E. coli enzyme is going to be 465 kD, roughly 500 kD. It's a big enzyme. Now, what is going to happen over here is that the the holoenzyme will go and bind to the promoter region, and where it causes the initial melting. And once the melting is done, so before the melting, this complex is called as binary complex. That means the promoter region and the your RNA polymerase. This is the binary. And since it has not caused any kind of melting, it's going to be called as closed binary complex. And once it causes the melting, it is called as open binary complex. In the beginning, the few times it fails to continue the process, and there'll be stretch of the DNA, usually 9 to 11 base pair long, will be produced in the few number. This is called as Abartu initiation. And once it is set up, it's like, if you are going for a ride on a cycle and the chain somehow come off, so that is, the process where the cycle will not be moving unless it gets again, onto the, that part where it can, the move further. The same process is going to happen over here. So once the chain is on the right place, the process will begin. And as soon as this happens, sigma factor will be released and the core enzyme will continue the proceedings. Now, we'll talk about the term promoter sequences. So this is the place where exactly the, the RNA polymerase is going to bind. So this DNA is going to be very, very important. And as I told you in the beginning, this is not going to be transcribed. Okay. And the RNA polymerase will ensure it will bind with the promoter region. And the promoter sequences is going to be, the two important region. One is in the upstream and one is again, the second one also is close to the upstream. So one we call the -35 region. This is the consensus sequences, means the sequence which will vary little bit in all the organism, but more or less is going to be similar. And the second one is the Pibnau box, which is in the range of -10. So the two regions, -35 and the -10. What is -10 and -35 means? The transcription start site, and before the number of the bases, whatever in the upstream is going to be in the minus number. And after the TSS, the transcription start site is going to be in the plus number. This number ensures, and this kind of bases ensure that RNA polymerase will bind tightly with the DNA stretch or the promoter region. Little, mutation in this region may decrease or increase the efficiency of the RNA polymerase. So the sigma factor is one, as I told you in the beginning, is going to do the job to ensure which region is going to be synthesized. And they have a specific structure which will always regulate the specificity of the promoter region. And we have the several different kind of sigma factor, like the sigma 70, sigma S, sigma 32. For example, the sigma 32 is required for the heat shock proteins, and the sigma 70 is going to be the most common type, which is the most required function. And if you look at the size, is going to be somewhere around, the 16 to 18 base pair, and the sequence required on the -35 is a TT GACA, and on the -10 is going to be TAT. And then, for example, the another one, the sigma F, that is a flagellar synthesis or the chemotaxis, and the sigma iron, which is required, FECL we call it as. So it is required for the iron metabolism or transport. There's a few ways, there'll be three mechanisms produced, like how exactly the RNA polymerase will move forward. One is the sliding, that means it will slide on the DNA stretch. Another one is the intersegment, you can see over here, it just jumped down from the one segment to the other. And the third one, interdomain, which is, it will just move from the one domain to the other. Now, if you look at over here, so one thing which is required, like if you see this, the upstream and the downstream on the antisense or the template DNA, where the RNA polymerase will keep on adding the things, will just requires, the on the left hand side, that is the upstream region, it requires the underbinding, and the right hand side it requires the overbinding. This is kind of, the supercoiling that we are talking about will ensure the efficiency of the transcription. This is going to be a must process. And if you see the structure within the same RNA polymerase, will have everything. We have the clamp to facilitate the processivity of this rudder to provide the direction, the wall, the exit region, and the bridge, so that it can be easily melted and can be easily transcribed. Now the speed, if you look at the RNA polymerase, is going to have the speed around 40 nucleotide per second at 37 degrees centigrade, whereas the almost similar speed is going to be of the translation, both goes hand in hand, around 15 amino acid per second, but DNA replication is going to be very, very quick, around 800 base pair per second. So efficiency wise, if you look at, so DNA polymerase is going to be the fastest one. This is the few more sites that is shown over here. In the case of bacteria, we require that this fifth site and the up element, and then we have the core promoter, which is required for the synthesis to take place, so that the regulation can be done in those regions. Keep in the mind, these are called as regulatory sequences, which never going to be transcribed. So promoter is, it can be the strong promoter or it can be the weak promoter, depending upon the kind of structure it has, how greatly the RNA polymerase is going to bind to this region that facilitate the efficiency of the process. So it could be the strong promoter or it could be the weak promoter, and the way it is going to be regulated, that is also going to be very important to control the process of transcription, which is the first step of the gene expression. Now we'll go into the eukaryotic system. We have the three different RNA polymerase to do the three different jobs. For example, RNA polymerase 1, which is required for the synthesis of the ribosomal RNA genes 5.8, 18S, and 28S. Then the RNA polymerase required for all the protein coding genes, especially the messenger RNA. Along with that, the SNO RNA and some specific SN small nuclear RNAs. Whereas POL3, it requires for the transfer RNA gene and one of the ribosomal RNA, that is a 5S ribosomal RNA gene, and some of the small nuclear RNA gene, and few more small RNAs, around 10 different kind of RNA that we see in the eukaryotic system. If you see a basic idea exactly how the DNA polymerase 2 recognize the correct DNA. Look at over here, these are the two boxes which are very, very important. One is called Tata box at around -25, and the integration region or the internal sequence, that is a transcription start site, and there'll be some downstream element as well, which is very, very important in order to facilitate the transcription to occur in a proper way. So initiation, unlike the prokaryotic system, they require additional proteins we call a transcription factor. There'll be two kinds, GTF, general transcription factor, and the specific transcription factor, which helps RNA polymerase. So number is given, like suppose you come across with the TF2, that means you are talking about the transcription factor required by the RNA polymerase 2. If you get TF1 or the TF3, accordingly it is for the RNA polymerase 1 and 3. So in the beginning, it makes the pre-initiation complex, and transcription control is always under the hand of the transcription factors, which are very, very important. If you look at this sequence, so we have the silencer region, upstream sequences, Tata boxes, and from where the transcription begins. And the many distal region, for example, the enhancers, insulators, you can see the upstream enhancers or downstream enhancers, or you can see the upstream activator sequences. You can see about the regulatory element, which is a proximal promoter element, and the II initiator sequences, or the DP, that is a downstream promoter elements. This is our the important region. This paper had been published in the Nature in the year 2003. Now, if you see this Tata box, and again, I'm not just saying that all the RNA polymerase require the Tata, or all the RNA polymerase 2 require the Tata boxes. No, there'll be Tata-less genes as well. So they have a different regions. For example, if you just come across by -35 or -30, we have the BRE and the Tata, then the INR, then we have the downstream promoter element at a +30. and the different kind of general transcription factor will bind to it. For example, BR is the region where the TF2B is going to be formed. The TATA is going to be bound with the TATA binding proteins. INR is going to be bound with the TF2D, and DP is going to be bound again with the TF2D. Now, if you look at the number of the unit of the all the important transcription factor, those are the GTF, general transcription factor, TF2D, TBP1 is required in the 1 unit. TAF is going to be the 11 number. So TBP plays important role in the recognition of the Tata boxes. TAF is 11 unit, recognize the other DNA element in the start region. Then we have the TF2B, TF2F, which is required in the 3 number, TF2E, which is required in the 2, and TF2H, which is required in the 9 number. This is going to be very, very important because it has to be phosphorylated in order to do the certain process, that is a helicase activity. Another important thing is that we do know little about the eukaryotic transcription initiation process, and the certain point of the phosphorylation of the pol2 requires the certain process to be done, especially the helicase activity and the removal of the all the transcription factor, and all the GTF is going to be left at the promoter region. Only the core enzyme will move forward. Elongation is always controlled by the certain region, like the pause site, if some break is there or some bases are missing, so RNA polymerase will agitate. So anti-termination, which precede the pass and the normal termination point. So we require the positive transcription elongation factor, we call the PTF, or if it has to be start, we require the negative transcription elongation factor. Termination begin by the stopping the RNA polymerase eukaryotic consensus sequences. For the termination is going to be AAU, AAA. And the other regulatory factor, those are the response element, heat shock elements, or the GRE or the MRE or the CRE. I'll show in the diagram. So CRE is for the cyclic MP dependent process, GRE for the glucocorticoids, HSC for the heat shock, MRE for the presence of cadmium. And unphosphorylated CRB does not bind to the CRB binding protein, and no transcription occur. And the phosphorylated CRB bind with the this CBP region, you can see over here, where the process is going to be continued. And then we require the transcription factor, which are of the 3 different categories, which are having the DNA binding domain and the transcription activation domain. So they have the DBD and they have the TAD, which are very, very important. So they have a 3 different kind of structure, like the helix, turn helix, zinc finger, and basic region leucine zipper, which are very, very important, because usually they enter into the DNA through the major groups to control the process of transcription. If you look at the zinc finger motif, it has the 2-cysteine and the 2-histidine and the teloamine acid later on, and zinc binds to the these repeated region. You can see in the diagram zinc, and you can see the 2-cis. Basically, it is important for the steroid kind of the hormones and the other regions. And similarly, the leucine region, if you see the basic region, which is many transcription contain this motif, such as CRB. So they have the half of the protein composed of the basic region conjugate, like the lysine, arginine, and the histidine, and half of the region contains the leucine. And the leucine line up on one side to make the hydrophobic pockets. So this is the basic structure. You can see not only those important elements like the transcription factor, but they are also being controlled by the many other proteins like the chromatin remodeling complexes, mediators, histone acetylase. So they are going to play a very important role in order to control the process. Hopefully, you are able to understand the process. This is how the transcription process is going to take place. And that is a lot of thanks from the Spice of Your Biology, Sandeep here. Do watch, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you very much for listening me carefully.